before I realized the microphone was turned off. Yesterday we learned about the daughters of Tzalafchad, that they went to Moses and they said, Moses, we're about to enter the land of Israel, and our father had died, and he didn't leave any sons. And according to the present laws, the only sons inherit a place in the land of Israel. That's what you just finished saying. So what does that mean? It means that our whole family just wiped out. We're not going to get anything. Nothing whatsoever to the family. we daughters, we want our part. So Moshe said, just stand here, wait a while, and I'll try to get I'll try to get God to clarify this thing. And sure enough, God speaks to him. So here we go. Regular. No. This is later. You have to go further back. Here we are now on chapter 27. Sentence number 7. 27 sentences. We have to make it bigger than that because I don't think there's any really human being that can read anything so small. Could be, if there is. Ready, okay. Where is it too small though? Yeah. Make it bigger. Okay, very good. Am I controlling this thing or not? Yes? No? I'll find out. No. Okay, you have to make it bigger. Bigger. We're sentence number Sentence number 8. No, further down. Chapter, there we go, further. I don't know what chapter you're in. Now you have to go to chapter 27. You're in chapter 26. Further. More. Don't stop now. Go. Further, more. Further. Go on. Don't stop. Almost made it. All right, let's learn the Chumash. Come on. We're on paragraph 27. We're on sentence number 8. Ready? Here it goes. Va'al b'nei Yisrael tadaber le'mor. And to the Jewish people you should say, okay, we're going to skip this to this. Okay. Very good. Here we go. Let's make it a little bigger. There we go. Okay. El b'nei Yisrael tadaber le'mor. Now say to the Jewish people. Okay, now again, what happened? The daughters of Tzalafchad came to Moshe and they said, our father died, and according to the present laws, only boys inherit their fathers. The girls don't get anything. What should we do? So Moshe said, tell you the truth, I don't know. I'm going to ask. So God answers and says to Moshe like this, El b'nei Yisrael tadaber le'mor. Speak to the Jewish people and tell them like this. Ish ki yamut, a man when he dies, uben ein lo, and he hasn't got a son, v'havarta et nachalato levito. So I told you yesterday, if a man dies, then all of his properties go to his sons. What if he hasn't got any sons? There's a lot here that's not written. Then it goes to the children of his sons, the sons of his sons. What if his sons don't have any sons? What if they only have daughters? Then it goes to the daughters of his sons. What if his sons, he didn't have any sons at all, or his sons also, whatever, he had no sons and there were no relatives from his sons. Never had any sons. So then it says that everything he has goes to his daughters. V'im ein lo bat. Now what if he hasn't got a daughter? Then everything goes to his brothers. But that's not so. It does not go to his brothers. Everything goes to his father. But it doesn't want to say that a son should die before his father. So therefore it says that if a man dies and he has property, everything goes to his sons. He didn't have any sons or any relatives from his sons, no children from his sons, no grandchildren from his sons, then everything goes to his daughter. What if a person dies and he didn't have any sons or daughters, then everything goes to his father. It doesn't say that here. What if his father is already gone, his father's dead? Then the whole process starts again. You start from his father. Then, so to speak, everything went to his father. His father doesn't live, so the whole process starts again. We treat the father like we treated him. Does he have any sons? If he has any sons, then it goes to him. Who are these sons? The dead man's uncles. It says, V'im ein lo bat, then everything goes to his brothers, right? To his brothers, and not his uncles, I'm sorry, to his brothers. In other words, the sons, other sons of his father. What if he hasn't got any brothers? Then everything will go to his sisters. Doesn't say that though. If he doesn't have any brothers or sisters, then everything will go to his uncles. In other words, it goes back to his grandfather. His grandfather is not alive, then it goes to his grandfather's sons and then daughters, and etc. And that's how it goes. That's how the whole inheritance goes. What if there are no brothers to his father? Then everything goes to the rest of the family. Okay, let's go further. Now we get to some little action. I just wanted to say this because I said it yesterday, but in a short way. By Yomer Hashem al Moshe, here we go. Here's a very sad part of the Torah. Moshe is about to die. At least God shows him.
I have a question before we proceed. What about Ima? What does Ima get?
What do you mean, Ima?
What does the mother get? The husband dies. What happens? And his wife, does she get stuff, or does it go to his sons?
No, she doesn't get anything.
Okay. Do you know why?
That's just what the Torah says. That like we learned in the Torah before, there are laws which are called chukim. They don't make any sense. There are some laws that don't make any sense, and this is one of them. A man dies, his wife doesn't get anything, officially. That's the way it goes in Torah law. His sons get, or his daughters get, they should take care of the mother, of course, whatever. Or now, this is if he doesn't stipulate. If he stipulates, he makes a will, then he can stipulate to give all of his money, especially if he gives it before he dies. He can give all of his money to his wife, he can give to whoever he wants to. All right, let's go. Here we go. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe, God spoke to Moshe, Alal Hara Evarim. Go to this mountain called Mountain Evarim. Or at Oretz, and see the land, Asher Natati Leben Israel, and have a look at the land that I'm going to give to the Jews, and you're not going to go there. Alal Hara Evarim. Go to this mountain, which is called the Mountain of Evarim. What is this mountain of Evarim? Let me look a little bit bigger. There we go. Why is this talking about this whole thing about Moshe not being able to go into the land of Israel, just to have a look at it? Because God said, Natan titen lahem, I am going to give the land of Israel to them. Omar otitziva makom lahanchil. Moshe said, God told me to divide up the land. Shemra hutra hanazira agazera. Maybe God is trying to hint that he's rescinded the decree that he made when I struck the rock. Vakanes, and I'll go into the land of Israel. Maybe God decided he wants to let me in after all. The Oretz. God said to Moshe, sorry, but my decree is where it was. Stays where it was. I'm not changing. You can't go into the land of Israel. I'll let you divide the land up. I'll let you have a look. But that's as far as you get. Davar, here is another explanation. Not really. It's a different way of explaining it. If you remember, Gad and Ruvain, they defeated Og Melech Bashan and Sichon Melech Amori, and God said you can have their portions. You can have the land of Moab and etc. on the other side of the Jordan, and others before the going into the land of Israel. So you can have all that, what's nowadays called Jordan, called the Trans-Jordan. So since Moshe came into this area, and this is before they went over the Yarden, Samach, Moshe was very happy. What do you mean he was happy? Because this land, there's going to be two tribes that are going to live, 2.5 tribes. It's going to be Reuven and Gad and half of the tribe of Manasseh. Omer said, "Kimeduma shehuta li neder." God is letting me come into land that's going to be inhabited as part of Eretz Yisrael. It's pretty good. Maybe God is, silently has just sort of forgotten about this whole decree. Mashal Melech. This is a metaphor to a king. Shegazer al bano, that he decreed on his son, Shalo yakanes lepetach hapalturin shalo. He got mad at his son and he said, "Don't let my son come in to the palace." Nichnas lashar vuacharav. The king goes into the gate, and his king and the prince, his son, is right in back of him. Lechatzer goes into the courtyard, and his son is with him. The traklin goes into the antechamber, and his son is with him. Kivin shabola kanes the keton. As soon as he wants to come and enter into the actual throne room, into the actual palace, Omalo beni, my son, mikan ve'elech ata asur lekanes. That's it. You went up to me, up to here. That's all. Poor Moshe. God says to Moshe, "Ureitia ota." See the land of Israel. Go on this mountain of Avarim. You'll see the land of Israel, v'nesafta alamecha, and you will be gathered into your people, kasher nasaf Aaron achicha, just like your brother did. Why does it say kasher nasaf Aaron achicha? Mikan, here we learn, shenisava Moshe le mitaso shel Aaron, that Moshe desired the same death that Aaron got. Says that Aaron died with a neshika, that his soul just went out of his body. Davar acher, another explanation. Ein ata tov mimena. You're no better than Aaron. Al asher lo kidashtem, because both of you together, you did not sanctify my name. You hit the rock. Hayim kadashtem oti, but if you would not have hit the rock, if you would have sanctified me, adayan lo higia zman chalit pater, then you would not die now. Nevertheless, in every place, every place where the death, Moshe's death, it's always written the reason why he died. Right? Because he didn't strike the rock. Every time God says you're going to die because you didn't strike the rock. Here you're going to die because you didn't strike the rock, because you didn't sanctify me at the Mei Meriva. Why does it have to constantly remind us of the sin of Moses? Because there was a decree that everyone that left Egypt, they all died. Remember, they didn't want to go into the land of Israel. So God said, you don't want to go into the land of Israel? Okay, you'll get your wish. You'll all die in the desert. God decreed on the whole entire generation that left Egypt that they would die in the desert, because they didn't believe in God, that God would protect them and give them success in the land of Israel. Therefore, because Moshe said, listen, God, do me a favor. Now I'm dying, so that people, lo yamar, people shouldn't say, avhu mi'amarim melu. People might think that Moses also died from that same sin, that he really didn't believe in Hashem. He did send the spies in, maybe Moses had doubts, and God was punishing him for the same reason as everybody else. So therefore, every time it's mentioned in the Torah that Moshe is going to die, it says you're going to die because of the rock, because you hit the rock, because you didn't sanctify me with the water. So to tell you that he wasn't part of the sin of the spies. Much less Danashim. Here is another metaphor to two women Shalokas bebeis din, that were taken, that were beaten, were punished by flogging in court. Achad kilkala, one of them was because she was suspected of infidelity. And the other one, she just ate the fruits of the 7th year that was forbidden to eat. So therefore, we want the one that got beaten because of the sin of eating the fruits of the shvius. She wants everybody to know why she's being beaten, right? She wants everybody that the reason she's being beaten is because she ate the fruits of the shvius. She shouldn't have done it, but it's nowhere near as bad as the other lady. She was unfaithful. Afkan also here, but Kol Makom she is Kiram Mistatzal. Every time it's mentioned the death of Moshe, it's always mentioned why Moses is dying. Lahodia Shaloya Tabahem Ella Zu Bilavad. That Moses and Aaron only had one sin in their whole life, and it wasn't such a bad sin. God just was very, very exacting on them because they were the leaders of the Jewish people. The sin was that they struck the rock in order to take out water from it when they should have spoken to it. Kasher maritem pi b'midbar tzin b'midbar l'heida l'haktishenu b'mayim, because you rebelled against my orders in the desert of Tzin, in the complaints of the congregation when you were supposed to sanctify me with water in front of them. That's called Mei Merivat Kodesh Midbar Tzin. That's called the waters of contention. Merivas Kodesh, that was the name of the place, Midbar Tzin. Oh, excuse me. Haim Levadam Ba'em, Ein Bahem Avon Acher. This was the only sin they ever did. There was this other sin. Davar Acher, Haim Hamru B'Mara. This was the sin that the Jewish people did at Mara. Remember what happened at Mara? The water was bitter, and Moses had to throw a stick in. Haim Amushe, Haim Miru B'Yam Suf. This is the same Jews that also Mara, that they rebelled at Yam Suf. Haim Atzmam She'Hem Miru B'Midbar Tzin. And this is the sin that they made on Midbar Sin. Slicha, excuse me. Yes. Vayidaber Hashem Moshe Lemor. God said to Moshe to say over. What did he say? Listen to this one. Okay, now God tells Moshe he's going to die, right? He's not going to take the Jews into Israel. Moshe now speaks to God. Vayadaber Moshe al Hashem. Lehodia shivchan shel tzaddikim. This tells you the great praise of the tzaddikim. Niftarim mina olam. When they die, they are concerned. Minichem tzorachem v'oskem b'tzorchei tzibur. They are concerned with the necessities of the congregation. They forget about their own needs. Menichim tzorchan. They forget about their own needs. V'oskim b'tzorchei tzibur, and all they're thinking about is the congregation, the Jewish people. And he said, Omer lo, I said, Hashiveni im atam mimana lehem parnas imlav. Moshe said, God, tell me if you're going to appoint someone or not. Listen to what Moshe says to God. Yifkod Hashem, God appoint, Elokei Ruchos L'Kol Basor, God, you are the God of the spirit of all flesh. And Rashi is going to explain what does it mean that everybody's different and God knows how. Ish Alaida, you have to appoint someone who has the same ability as you, that can deal with the differences of all of the Jewish people. We're going to see this in 1 minute. Let's go to the next sentence. Sorry here. Asher yetze lifnehem, asher yavo lifnehem. Someone that will go out in front of the Jews and someone will come back in front of the Jews, that we can take them out and can bring them in. And there's a leader. We'll see what this means in a moment. V'lo tieh adat Hashem and the congregation of God should not be katzon asher ein lehem roeh, like sheep that do not have a shepherd. Not a nice thing to compare the Jewish people like sheep. Huh? What a bunch of animals. Not a nice thing. The Jewish people should not be like people without a leader. Why a sheep without a shepherd? Where did you get that from, Moshe? So the answer is very simple. A sheep is an animal. It goes according to its own nature. And the Jewish people, without Moshe, they also go according to their own nature. True, it's a different nature. It's the nature of a human being, not an animal. But still, it's the same basic thing. The Jewish people are supposed to be a special nation. But on the other hand, they're a nation. They're people like everybody else. And if you don't have a proper leader, then the Jewish people will be like sheep. They'll be like sheep without a shepherd. They'll go according to their own natures. Now I ask you, have you ever seen such a thing as sheep without a shepherd? Maybe in the zoo or something. But generally speaking, there is no such thing. No such thing as sheep without a shepherd. Unless it's like in the barn or in the zoo or they're closed in. But as soon as you have sheep in the field without a shepherd, it doesn't take very long. And the sheep eventually just sort of scatter out and they're gone. That's it. It takes a day, who knows how long. And then there's no more sheep. Right? They just get driven. They get run over by cars and eaten by wolves and fall over cliffs and they drown. All sorts of crazy things. They're just gone. Same thing with the Jewish people. The Jewish people without a leader, they're finished. They're finished. Only by a miracle do they all stay together. And you say that they stay together, that they're not really together, that everybody's disagreeing with everybody else. So Moshe is God. So God says, "Vayomer Hashem el Moshe kach lecho Yoshua, take Yoshua bin Nun ish asher ruach bo v'samachta yadcha alav," and rely on him. Now Moshe had sons, right? But no, Hashem said, "I want you to take Yoshua," and we'll see what Rashi says about this. But let's go back a little bit. Yifkod Hashem Elokei Ruchot L'Kol Basar. Ish Aleida. Moshe says to God, appoint somebody. God, you are the God of spirit of all flesh. Appoint someone on the congregation. Yifkod Hashem. Kivich Shema Moshe. As soon as Moshe heard, Sha'omer Lo Amakom, the God said, Ten Nachlat Salafchad Lavanotav. Then he said, give the part of the land of Israel that belonged to this man Salafchad, when he died, give it to his daughters. Omer, Moshe said, Higia Zaman she'et bat tzorchi. Maybe now Salafchad died, and who gets his portion? We don't know. So the daughters of Salafchad came, and they said, we want to know. Well, we don't want this to be unclear. So Moshe asked God and said, when somebody dies, as his portion goes to his daughters or whatever, he made it clear. Moshe said, listen, now I better make myself clear. God said, I'm going to die. I have to find out who's going to inherit me. Sheyirshu Banai et Gedulasi. Moshe wanted his son Elazar Tamar that they should inherit my greatness. Omer lo, Kodesh Baruch Hu, God said, Lo kach, Allah b'machshava lefanai. This is not what I want. Kadayu Yeshua. He was the one that should take the reward. Shimusho, shalom mash mitoch oil. Yeshua never moved from your side. That's what it says. Shlomo, notzar te'ena yochal peria. The one who works on the fruit, he gets to eat it. Why did he call Elokei Ruchot Lam? Why does it say, God, you are the God of all spirit? Omer lefanav Ravona Shalom. Moshe said, God, you know, God, the personality of each and every Jew. And nobody has the same personality. Every single Jew is different. Every single Jew is different. Mana aleya manhig, you have to appoint a leader, that he's able to appease each and every person according to his personality. All right, I think that's enough. That was the talent of Yoshua. That Yoshua was able to be like God and know the nature. And we saw that by the Rebbe so clearly, so amazingly clearly, how the Rebbe answered each and every person. Very incredible. Very incredible. I just heard a story from, I think I told the story before. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I just don't remember the story because anyway, the Shabbos I was in Ramat Beit Shemesh. It was very nice. I spoke there, and for bringing over there, spoke a few times. So after Shabbos, they showed this video of Professor Velvel Green of blessed memory. And he told a couple of very interesting stories. And one of the stories that he told was that he was a professor. He worked in NASA. It was NASA, something, the aviation. They were the ones that shot rockets to the moon, stuff like that. And he was involved in trying to find life, if there was life on Mars. And the Rebbe encouraged him very much that you should. It's a longer story than that, but he said you should look in life on Mars because the more life you find on other planets and other places, it shows the greatness of God. Anyway, he was just beginning to become religious. He was totally not religious, totally, had no connection to Judaism. He was a scientist, no connection. But somehow or other, he was introduced to the Rebbe by Rabbi Feller in Minnesota, and he became really good friends. Anyway, so he read a scientific paper of the Rebbe, and he said that this is not scientific. This thing doesn't make it. It's not scientific at all. You know, it's just very simple, and it doesn't really doesn't answer any questions. So he wrote to the Rebbe and said, I'm very disappointed in this paper that the Rebbe wrote about the age of the world, or about the sun going around the earth, or something like that. And I would like the Rebbe to explain. So the Rebbe wrote him a whole long letter back, and he didn't explain anything. He just talked about all sorts of different things. So he wrote him a letter back, this Professor Green. He still was not religious. And he said, you know, very nice. I appreciate the letter you wrote me, but you didn't answer my question. You know, I asked you a question, you know, I don't understand. So the Rebbe, he waited a while, and he wrote him another letter, also very nice, and then he also didn't answer the question. So this went on a few times. He wrote him like 5 or 6 letters. Meanwhile, he was becoming more and more observant. And finally, I don't know how long it was, let's say it was a year, 2 years, when he was a totally observant Jew already. He was already keeping Torah, he was keeping mitzvahs and everything. And then the Rebbe wrote him a letter answering all of the questions that he had asked, you know, years earlier. So he asked the Rebbe, why didn't you answer me immediately? So the Rebbe said, my job is not to win arguments. It's not to win arguments. It's to make people feel, if I would have won the argument, then you would have said, oh, how smart I am, and, you know, very intelligent. And then you would have felt defeated by me. And that's not what I want. You know, the Rebbe just said, I want to bring out the good of everyone and bring everyone closer to the Creator, not to, you know, win arguments. So we see that's the same thing, that the Rebbe understood the nature of each and every person and how it would be, you know, to deal with each person individually. Okay, let's go further. Come on, rabbis, let's go. Somebody want to put up Pirkei Avot? That would be wonderful. If not, also wonderful. We're on chapter 4, and we did not finish yet. We're in the middle of what Ben Azai said, if you remember. Mishnah Gimel. And Ben Azai said, don't, devaluate anything. Don't belittle anything, because everything is important and everything has its purpose. So let's go to here. Here we go. Ready? Ein lecha davar she'ein lo makom. That's it. Very good. Excellent. Exactly that place. Ein lecha davar she'ein lo makom. There is nothing in the world